If you're looking to hold your first L-sit, but you don't know where to start, or you think your arms are too short, or your legs are too heavy, this is the video for you, because today I'm going to take you through the exercises that you need to build the skill, strength, and coordination required to hold your first L-sit. The first exercise that I want to go over is the L-sit pushdown, because no, your arms aren't too short to learn an L-sit. You just need to learn the art of scapular depression, and this exercise will teach you just that. I'm going to start with my dumbbells next to me. You can, of course, use P-bars. Any height will do, really, as long as you can start seated and have your hands next to you. From here, I'm just going to think about pushing the floor down away from me, and as I do that, I'm going to straighten my arms and push my shoulders down to my hips. That is the scapular depression right there. So I'm here, I'm going to push the floor down, straighten my arms, and push my shoulders down to my hips. That's it. That's one rep. I normally recommend somewhere between 4 to 8 reps for this, and I know it's a simple movement, but it's really important to train with intention here. So every rep, I want you to explore your ability to see how much can you lift the hips off of the floor, and how much can you depress your shoulders down to your hips, all while keeping the arms straight and gripping your dumbbells or your P-bars tight. So we're gonna do that one again. Shoulders down, how much can you go? How much can you lift the hips? How straight can you get your arms? And then back down. So it's a pretty slow, intentional rep. As a beginner, I always say that you have so much more range in your shoulders than you think you do. Something you could even try is pushing the floor down, hold for a second and see, can you push the shoulders down to the hips even further? You'll know you're doing this when you can feel a stronger contraction through your lats. Push the floor down, straighten the arms, lift the hips, shoulders down to the hips, and see how much can you feel that lat. The next exercise I want to go over is a planche plank. And I know this isn't a planche tutorial, but I do think this exercise is quite beneficial because it trains your arm in a straight arm position. And it also trains your shoulders at an angle that is quite specific to different types of L-sit variations. So for example, if you want that really pretty compressed L-sit where you're quite folded, this is going to be helpful for that. And also maybe down the track, if you want to learn a pike press or an L-sit to pike press even, this helps build that foundational strength for it. There are a bunch of different variations of the planche plank, so you might see it done with different grips. What we're going to do today, though, just to keep it similar to an L-sit, is a neutral grip. So hands facing each other. From here, I'm going to start in my tall plank. So on my feet, neutral grip. I'm going to tuck the glutes under the pelvis, and then from here, I'm going to push the floor down away from me so that my shoulders are in protraction. So neutral, retraction, but we want protraction here. From here, I'm going to lean forward while keeping my arms straight so that my shoulders go over my wrists. As you planche further forward, you're going to find the need to increase the protraction in your shoulders and to further tuck your glutes under the pelvis. Depending on where you're at with your L-sit journey, I would recommend 2 to 3 sets, anywhere between 10 to 30 seconds. This exercise takes what you've learned from the L-sit pushdown and the planche plank, combines them, and also adds in the element of compression. So this is the L-sit pullback. So from here, I'm going to do a push down. I'm going to planche the shoulders forward, and I pull the hips back. Basically, I want to think about pulling my hips at an angle where the ceiling meets the wall, so up high towards the corner of the room. Push down, arms straight, shoulders down away from the ears, planching forward as the hips go up, and then I come back down. The main activations you want to think about here, other than the planche and what you've learned in the pushdown, is thinking about engaging the core to bring your upper body towards your lower body, and engaging the hip flexors and the lower core to bring your legs up to your upper body. So that's that element of compression there. It might get a bit crampy, that's okay. Just means that your core is really working. I'll show you this one again. Push down. Planche, pull back, and then again. When you start, you might find that your range looks a little bit like this, but that's okay. Remember what I said earlier? We want intentional reps here where you are exploring your range of motion. When we're doing these things, we want to stay patient with it, and it's a lot easier to stay patient when your rep range is a little bit lower. So something like this, 3-4 sets, and on the low end, somewhere between 3 to 5 reps. If you stay intentional with your training and super mindful, I guarantee you're going to start to build that range and that strength needed for your full L sit. By the way, that one can be a real sock destroyer, so I recommend using sliders if you have them. These next few exercises I'm going to show you on the rings, but I highly recommend doing them on P-bars. These are just all I have at the moment. You can definitely do them on rings. It just adds in like an extra element of stability that you might not need at the moment if you're working towards your first L sit. P-bar leg raises are a really good way to condition all the strengths that we've discussed, which is the shoulder depression and your compression as well as your straight arm strength. So from here, you're going to hop up on your P-bars/ring. And you're going to think about pushing the P-bars down away from you. From there, you're going to use the hip flexors and the lower core to raise your legs to that L-sit position. So we hop up, we push the ring/P-bars down away from us, and then from here, we're going to lift the legs and back down. It's so much shakier on the rings. When you start doing these, your legs might not be coming up as high yet. Maybe they're coming up to here. That's okay. Remember, we're training with intentional reps. So take these reps slowly, don't rush them, don't just do them to tick off the numbers. Make sure you're thinking about, as you are holding on tight, how much can you use the hip flexors to lift up? So just take like an extra second at the top of each rep to see if you can go that little bit higher. By the way, if you're having trouble keeping your legs straight in any of these movements, or your hamstrings feel tight, or maybe you feel uncomfortable in any of these piked positions, or you just want to train your compression strength a little bit more, I do have a video on this. I'll put a link in the description below. Before you move down to the floor to work on these specific L-sit progressions, which we're going to go over next, you might want to start with some P-bar L-sits. So we're back on these shaky rings. You are going to be on the P-bars. From here, you're just lifting and holding. The reason why I quite like it on the P-bars is that it's just a bit more forgiving, because obviously you have so much room from the floor to your hips. So say you set yourself a goal of like 20 seconds and you can't hold this for the whole 20, maybe you start here, but you're still working that hip flexor strength. Just get a little bit more range of motion to do that. For the P-bar leg raises, I recommend starting with 2 to 3 sets of 6 to 12 reps. And then for the P-bar L-sit hold, you can do anywhere between 10 to 30 seconds. 10 seconds is just you learning the skill and building that activation. And then 20 to 30 seconds is all about building the endurance for the skill. So you've been doing the drills, and now your straight arm strength, your compression strength, and your scapular depression are all looking good. So now let's go over the L-sit. So the first variation I would start with is knees tucked. You want to think about, again, that compression strength of bringing your knees into your upper body as much as possible. And then again, we're utilizing that scap depression of pushing the floor down away from us. So we lift and we tuck. When those holds are feeling good, we can start to lengthen the lever by bringing one leg out. So from here, we lift, we tuck, we bring one leg out. If you're doing that variation, what I normally recommend is just switching the legs set to set. So if you're doing 4 sets, you can do 2 sets on your right leg, 2 sets on your left. You don't need to do one right and then be up in the air and then switch the other one. I mean, you could, but it is hard, and this is a beginner L-sit tutorial. Once you've done that single leg, then you're ready for the straight leg. So when we're here, we are pushing the floor down away from us, and we're going to use the hip flexors and the core to engage that compression strength. So we're here, we push, and we lift. And there you have it, your first L-sit. So there you have it, your roadmap to unlocking your first L-sit. If you have any questions, just pop them in the comments below, or if there's a particular movement that you want to see a video breakdown on, you can also let me know in the comments below. If you found this helpful, I hope that you give it a like, and I will see you in the next video.